Season ticket holders, fans, supporters, distance fans, neutral observers, and even haters. I owe you a massive apology coming into this video. Season 2 on MFL was shaping up to be something special, but we fell asleep at the wheel. We'd set our tactics out for a couple of games, but we hadn't quite set them for enough, and we've just been on a vital leg of the season here with both hands off the wheel. Did we career off the road? Did we manage to break through the barrier? It has been an absolute rollercoaster of a bunch of games, guys, and now we're staring down the barrel of the final furlong of the season, and really our season hangs in the balance. There's not much left that can be really done about the situation we're in at the moment, so we've just got to see what's in front of us and do our absolute best with it. But there's been some great in-game developments as well on site, as well as, you know, within the club and whatever as well. We'll get stuck into all that as usual, guys. If you are brand new to MFL, the football management network experience that we have here on the channel that runs on the blockchain, where you found your own club, you license it, you call it whatever you want, and with some of the AI image generation that's available on the internet, some of the clubs that do compete in this have got some brilliant badges, club names, and all that good stuff. Then you can do so by clicking on the link that's in the description in this video. By doing that, you will support me and all the content here at the channel, so I sincerely thank you for doing so. If you are going to play this game, you do support the content here on the channel, you are a subscriber, whatever, please do click on that link before opening an account, and make sure you get all the beginner Brucey bonus stuff, of course, for signing up and clicking on a link, but also it means a lot to me personally, so I thank you in advance if you do so. If you do get stuck, or if you've got any questions, jump into the comment section and I'll come and sort you out, of course. But let's just get stuck straight into this one, because we'd left this off this time last week with the situation of coming into this vital period of the season, having a cup game, playing some of the top teams in the league, and having to maybe rescue some points back from where it was dropped elsewhere in the season. And, you know, I've already kind of clicked through all of these. There's been some great topsy-turvy matches, lots of decent goals and all the rest of it, but there was sincerely like 6 or 7 games here to catch up with, so I just kind of did it in my own time to kind of maybe build a highlights package or do something along that kind of vein with it. But honestly, I couldn't bring myself to, because it just went from bad to worse. We won the first game against FC Condora, who at the time were like 2nd or 3rd in the league. They were really flying high, before we then lost 4-1 to Effigy Tenderfleet. Now this is a game that I think we were really eyeing up a victory. We then went into the cup game against Glasgow FA and we managed to win that 3-2. Before then back-to-back losses in the league against Commons Farms Arega, who are one of the bottom teams in the division. That was a huge loss, and a big part of the reason that this happened, we lost 4-3, but by this time the team had played, oh no, well actually the team weren't actually too bad. This maybe it was a cup game, where once I started to come into that, the fitness levels, the fitness levels started to play a part in our last 2 fixtures against top of the table here, who we lost against 3-0, and you know, this would have been a game that, you know, these guys, we would have wanted them playing, but with some of them, the left back we might have changed, and with some of them like Mooney here really running on E, we were just absolutely steamrolled. But we managed to win the last game against Normandy because they didn't show up for a match. So I guess this is what happens when you don't submit a lineup or whatever, but we really got out of jail on that match, managed to get sneaky 3 points there, having just lost the previous 2 in a row, and dropping a very valuable 3 points here to Commons Aregua here. And fair play to them, huge coup for them, huge victory. I'm sure they were celebrating for that for days on end. And really, yeah, it must have been the performances, I was thinking, more than the fitness levels that really held us back in this game. A real topsy-turvy match. Nasser scores in the first minute. We get in at half-time, 2-1 to the good. They peg us back quickly, take the lead. We fight back, but it ultimately ends up going against us right afterwards. So a tough set of matches where really, you know, when we were thinking, could we actually sneak into 3rd? Could we actually go on a bit of a cup run? We just get absolutely pumped out of the cup here against Melon Nurk. And again, the XP or the fitness levels didn't really play a part in this, actually, upon reflection. Maybe a little bit, because again, they're not primed for it. I've got my second choice left back in, and he really did steamroller us. If we look at his player ratings, quite similar to mine, but there is a clear step up overall, and every player there was maxed out for fitness, so they were all primed and ready to go for that one. And that's when I really feel I've let the side down here, because even if we won that game, we would still be in the cup. And I know we're not sitting pretty right now, just above the relegation zone, but tonight, the first game that we've got at point of recording is against Ninefear, so a real 6-pointer where we can just get ourselves away from that section of the table. And with the remaining matches we've got, after we play Case Patologici, we then play Stuttgart, who are in 3rd. We then play Sputnik, who are bottom. We need to win that, of course, before finishing the season out against Athletic Club Lyon, which is like a mid-table clash, isn't it? And then Southern Fire, who again, they will have designs on trying to break into that top 3 as well. So there's actually 2 big 6-pointers there, maybe even 3 if you think about Athletic Club, that we can, you know, climb up the table with. And if this Malherbe Normandy are DNPing, they're not going to be a threat, you know. So I think I'm going to be okay. We'll probably save ourselves from relegation in that sense, but should be fine. I've got all my tactics pre-programmed out to run for the rest of the season. I'll show you what I've got going out for the immediate games before the video goes live. So tonight against Patologici, now it is a 6-pointer, it's a really big game, but the guys are absolutely done right now. Look at the fitness levels of them all. My best 11, my first choice 11 have been ran right into the ground over this period, sadly, so I'm having to make sweeping changes. Only Grant and Lecoq are going to keep their place for this game, and the backups, like the left back's actually first choice, you know, but the goalkeeper I'm a bit sketchy on. Martinek, I'm going to keep him as captain, so I think we need him to be as good as possible. And Lecoq's actually been on a good scoring vein over this period, so I hope just by keeping in Lecoq and Grant's kind of energy in midfield, we might be able to get by okay. Before then, playing that 6-pointer against Stuttgart, I think we could bring back like the spine of the team, you know, so we could bring back the likes of Nasser, Mooney, Tolentino, Wagner and Casas to try and just reinforce this team to try and go away to Stuttgart and get something there. If we can get 3 points, absolutely amazing. And then I think against Sputnik we can probably rotate quite a lot. I'm trying to rotate between both forwards at this stage. Tolentino, that would be 2 games in a row for him. But otherwise, yeah, I think we're bringing back a lot of the first teamers here. We're swapping left backs. And this is a team, you know, we can play Muller, we can play Steffens. I'm tempted to play Grant over Will just now, but I think I'll keep that the way I've got it, of course. And then the final 2 games, I'm not going to show you what we've got for Athletic Club in case they see this video before it goes out, or Southern Fire, because those games, we need to have the 11 primed, but I'm not going to be... I'll need to read it as the games go on as well. I might adjust those 2 games at the last minute, but I've got the tactics pre-programmed, just in case we do fall asleep at the wheel. Now, you may be wondering what these little arrows are off the players. Now, you've got this available in friendly mode at the moment, where you can do individual instructions on the players, which I'm really excited for. I hope this is something that gets widely deployed in Season 3, because the game does need like a little bit more dimension to it, where you can feel like I'm noticing this guy excels in these situations, or he's not as good or whatever, and you can really then just kind of dial that in a little bit tighter. So quite excited for that. But I think, like, again, the business I didn't do in the mid-season window, I'm probably going to be faced with again at the end of season, which I don't really mind too much, you know. But when I did come to the mid-season window, I did kind of think to myself, like, I'm quite fine with the majority of my squad, and I think I would have been a bit better. I think I'd still be in the cup, and I think I would have probably picked up a couple of points more than what I have here had I been a wee bit more proactive on the ball in this period and didn't get just swept away this week. I can't believe how quickly the time has flown away from me. But if we look at our progression over the last 7 days, we've not really had much going on. Riger and Wagner have went up a little bit. Wagner getting a wee bit quicker and more defensive prowess is good to see. And then actually some individual stats across the board have went up. Like Casas might be ready to level up soon if his physical and his dribbling keeps going. So I like the progress a lot of these players are making. And this is part of this game that I really do want to engage with. You know, like, one of the things I love about MFL is that it's timeless. I love this old match engine that we have. You know, it gives me big nostalgia to old school Football Manager. And yeah, you do want good level of detail, and you want to be able to be in control of as much of the team decision making as you possibly can. But I do like the feeling that it is like, it's like proper old school Football Manager, and it's not dated. Like, if I wanted to do something similar to this, I'm picking up like Champman 0001 or something like that, you know. But it's all old players and stuff like that. Whereas with this, obviously, you know, you're going on the journey with these players from their career, and the majority of, I don't have anyone that's 30. A lot of them are a decent age. Maybe Wagner's the oldest here at 27. So I am keen to see the progression a lot of the core players I've got here can get. And I don't want to write anyone off, because this Quintana has been, we spoke about in the last video, my biggest improver. And I think this division is a nice testing ground, a proving ground for a lot of these players. Maybe the Blues, maybe less so, but the guys that are rated in the 60s, I can see the ones that have maybe got the potential to step up, and we've maybe seen that a bit more fuller as the seasons went on. So we've definitely got some business we want to be ironing out, I think, once we get to the end of the season. Looking at the player contract situation, we do have a lot of players out and about on loan and stuff like that. I wonder if I can see, yeah, this would be the page we would want. I want to see their progression, let's say current season rather than all time. So we've got Logar at Shamrock. He's jumped up quite a bit, actually. He's went to, that's a nice goalkeeper move there, isn't it? Chu Daism, MFC, he's had Morel. He's went up too. That's a nice wee backup centre-back at 22 that is worth keeping an eye on. These are all our players. Ball, who was actually quite unlucky not to stay at FC Barcelona. He was actually quite a good left-back for me. It's good to see at Remo Rovers. He's doing well. And Colin McRae, who we've put in the development centre, he's been up 1 since he's been in there, which is fun. Another player at Shamrock we've got here, Brandt. Never seen him play for me, but it's good to see he's out there getting progression. And then we've got a wee clutch of players here. Hans Papa, who featured last season for us, he was cool, wasn't he? Cordoba and Nomenko, both kind of getting some progression on the cards. As well as in all these other players that haven't actually stepped up in level, just kind of getting some individual stats improving. So we've got somebody out here at Riker. This week Gonzalez left back was fun. I don't think he'll ever break into my squad. Van Dam here at Sydney, no progression at all, but we've got Bustamante at Cambridgeshire Blues. Good to see he's doing well. I like that Bustamante, just wasn't quite good enough to stay around here, sadly. And then we've got Sagar, wee centre back at Cedric 9093, and we've got Arvra. I've never seen this guy as well, must have been a referral reward. He's starting to play a wee bit for Moody MFC down here as well. So we've got a lot going on. There's actually some players like Logar got up +3, is actually quite impressive. It's interesting to see the development centre player as well bubbling away in the background, and I really do hope Colin McRae can come back to being maybe even just better than Fletcher. That's kind of the hope I've got with him, so that I can have another Scottish player in the FC Barcelona lineup. If we go and have a look at the development centre, since we've got a guy in it, can we see much going on here? Is there any interactive kind of... Oh, these boxes are greyed out. Okay, cool. So I've left him in here for 4 seasons. That's the plan. It's just to get him absolutely maxed up as much as possible. So he's almost a quarter of the way through it, so we might not see McRae for a little while. But let's hope it's like that kid that comes back after that summer and they just have a growth spurt and suddenly they're the quickest, fastest player going. So yeah, nice to see we've got some progression across the club, not just the players we've got here, but some of the players are out and about. And I think there will be more of these players that are in the squad currently that will find their way maybe into your club in the upcoming transfer windows. I maybe shed some of these guys off that have been really good for me, but I'm just maybe looking to level up in some areas. So yeah, really interesting to watch the squad dynamic, the agency element of this as well, I'm a big fan of. And sadly, I think the best thing we can do now for the rest of this season is consolidate in the Stone League and then kind of go again. Wish me luck for this last run of fixtures, man. I've got my fingers crossed. I look forward to seeing you on the next MFL video that we do here. Be sure to let me know how your Season 2 is going. If you had any moments like me where you've like fell off the wheel and a few fixtures have got away from you, or you know, any squad expectations, guys that have exceeded or fell below, any progression monsters, always look forward to catching the comment section on the MFL videos, because this is the beautiful thing about it, is it's the meta football. It's like a little metaverse of my club, your club. We all live in the same ecosystem, and you know, I love this kind of element of it all. So I always look forward to catching the comment sections on these ones. On screen and now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. I hope you're having a great weekend. I say wish me luck. I hope you the best of luck as well. Stay out of trouble, and I will catch you on the next one.